Hello everyone, this is Sam from Language Atlas, and in this video I'd like to show you the 625 most common French words Anki deck. In this video I'd like to show you three things. First, I'd like to show you the course structure. Second, I'd like to show you the course content, and I will do so by showing you three decks in particular. And third, I'd like to show you some brief editing options. Now without further ado, let's get started. As you can see, the Anki deck is right over here. You can double click on it to open it. I've already done so, and you can see it's right over here. So I'll begin with my first point, which is to show you the course structure. Now you can see that there are 4 chapters. Chapter 1, pronouns, where we'll just deal with subject pronouns. Think of I, you, he, she, it, we, you plural, and they, but then in French, of course. Then we have chapter 2, verbs. And in this chapter, you'll see the most common French verbs. Think of to eat, to sleep, to go, to have, etc. All in the infinitive form. So that means the full verb. We have chapter 3, adjectives. And you'll deal with, of course, as it says, the most common adjectives. Think of good, bad, short, tall, ugly, beautiful, those kinds of adjectives. And you see over here colors, where you learn about the most common colors, red, blue, green, yellow, those kinds of colors. Then we have over here chapter 4, nouns. And in chapter 4, you will learn about the most common nouns. You can see all kinds of subjects over here. You'll learn how to talk about animals, about art, beverages, body, clothing, days, all the way up to transport. And this is essentially the biggest part of the overall Anki deck. And this is, I think, perhaps maybe even the most useful, depending on who you are and what your priorities are, of course. But this is where you'll find most cards in the deck. Now, that is it for the first part. Now, for the second part, I'd like to show you some decks. And I'll do so by showing you 3 decks. One of chapter 2, verbs. One of chapter 3, adjectives. And one of chapter 4, nouns. I won't show you this deck because it has a very small content. And I think it's much better for you if you see one of these. So I'll begin with chapter 2, verbs, and I'll go to study now, and I'll click on it. And you can see that it has the following construction. You can see that there's a sentence. You can see that there's a blank area, and then you can see that there's an English translation. And you can see also right over here that a certain part has been bolded and underlined. Now, of course, these two correspond with each other. So you have to know how to say to carry in French. And you see something right over here, a picture. And this is so you can associate a visual connection with the sentence. And many studies have shown that it's easier to memorize things in this way. So let's have a look at the answer.
Je dois porter mes courses jusqu'à la maison. Porter.
Now you can see that the answer is porter, to carry. And if you click on this button, you can hear the sentence again.
Je dois porter mes courses jusqu'à la maison.
But that's not all. Here you can see the full correct answer. Here you can see the IPA notation. So if hearing isn't enough for you, you can actually see the IPA notation, which shows you exactly how something is pronounced. And you can see the English translation of the French sentence. You have over here, you have the verb, porter. Again, you have the IPA notation. So this is how you pronounce it. You have over here the English translation. And if you want to hear it again.
Porter.
Porter. Now that was the first question type. You can see there's a blank area and you have to know what goes there. Let's do another question. Same principle, blank area, English translation, something has been bolded and underlined. So this is what you have to know, to pay. And how do you say that in French, to pay?
Vous devez payer le serveur avant de partir. Payer.
Very simple, payer. And again, same concept with all the things we have seen before. Let's do one more. This is an easier one, I think. You can see right over here, there's a blank area. And of course, you have to know how to say to learn.
Ils vont à l'école pour apprendre les mathématiques. Apprendre.
And the correct answer is apprendre. Now that was the first question type. There's also a second question type. So the first one's over here. There's a blank area. You have to know what goes there. Now I'd like to show you the second question type.
Je suis. Mes enfants. Nous allons. Ce n'est. C'est. Il a.
You can see that there are many sentences. And this is the second question type. Again, same blank, but now you have to type the correct answer. Porter.
Je dois porter mes courses jusqu'à la maison. Porter.
And you can see that my answer was correct. So it's here in green. And again, you can see that all the same information we've seen before. But what if you didn't know the correct answer? What if you did something like this? Let me even change this into an I.
Vous devez payer le serveur avant de partir. Payer.
And you can see that Anki corrects you. So the parts in green is what you had correct, and the parts in red is what you had incorrect. And you can see over here how something is supposed to be.
Nous sommes.
Let's do one more. And maybe if I do it like this.
Ils vont à l'école pour apprendre les mathématiques. Apprendre.
You can see again, Anki corrects you where you made the mistake, and you can see the correct answer over here. Now that was a deck from chapter 2 verbs. Now I'd like to show you one from chapter 3 adjectives, namely the adjectives. And again, it's the same concept where you see a blank area. So this is the first card type.
Je suis tombé malade à cause de la nourriture au restaurant. Malade.
And the correct adjective is malade. And you can see it over here too. Another one it talks about shoes and the fact that they're too expensive. And you have to know expensive, as has been bolded and underlined.
Ces chaussures sont trop chères pour moi. Cher.
And what's interesting is that here you see that you have to know cher. This is the default adjective, but here you can see it in a different context. It's it's plural. And you can see over here cher with es. So this is how it's supposed to be in the context of the sentence. And another one.
Il aime manger de la soupe chaude. Chaud.
And again, chaud for warm. And if I were to move on, you'd be able to do another typing exercise. Now I'd like to go to chapter 4, and I'll go to location. And you can see over here, same concept, but this it's a little bit different. The answer you're supposed to know is the theater, but then in French.
J'adore le théâtre. Le théâtre. Un théâtre.
And you can see right over here that theater is in blue, and that is because theater is a masculine noun in French, so I have color coded it to be blue. So anytime you're dealing with a masculine noun, you'll see something in blue, and this is for you. This way you can remember things even better because you have a color association with the noun. Let's do this one, for example. You see over here a blank area. You're supposed to know the room.
J'ai quitté la salle. La salle. Une salle.
And you can see over here that la salle is in pink. So because it's a feminine noun, it's in pink. And you see another example.
J'ai acheté une nouvelle maison. La maison. Une maison.
And it's the same concept again. Une maison is feminine, so it's pink. So it's the same concept. A house, that's what you have to know. You see a picture, and une maison is what you're supposed to know, and you can see the noun over here. Now, again, if I were to move on, you would see even more examples. For example, here we have arrived at the type in the blank area over here. So you have to type in the correct answer, but you already know how that goes. So you can see there are many categories, many words, 625 in total for all of them. So this is more or less the setup. Finally, I'd like to go to my third point, which is to show you the show you some brief editing options. Now I'll show you the most important thing, which is if you go over here to this icon, you can see options and you can see new cards per day. Now this regulates how many new cards you see per day. So if you want to increase it to 40, for example, you can. And over here we have maximum reviews per day. So a review, essentially you did a card before and now you're doing it again, a review. You can increase this to, let's say, 40. Then you can click on OK. And you can see there's been an increase over here. So if you want to change the amount of cards that you do, new cards per day, maximum reviews per day, you can. My advice to you would be to start on a lower number. This is because you have to build up a habit, and it's easier to build up a new habit if you have a low amount of cards in the beginning. But naturally, as you progress, you can increase the amount of cards that you do. Now that was it for this video. If you want to get the deck, you can go to languageatlas.com. I will put all the links in the description, all the links and all the information in the description. Thank you for watching. I wish you good luck with learning French. And of course, if you have any comments, you can put them in the comment section. Of course, if you have any questions, you can put them there too. Or you can just go to the website and write me an email. Thank you very much for watching. Everything's on languageatlas.com. Thanks again and have a good day. Goodbye.